Okay, we resume Ulefes Sappirim. We are in Yom HaSiri still in entry Chav Tes. Right, we most should hope that the Zohar that we learn that was selected by Rav Shlomo Al Ghazi and explained by him should be Lukmei Shchinta Me'afra, Lukmei Shchinta Me'gosa Ben Yivkum Me'gosa Barachabit. So again, so because of Sefer Bereshis Daf Kuf Ayin Zayin on Beis Kuf Ayin Chesed B'Av. So now Zohar and Bereshis Kuf Ayin Zayin on Beis and Kuf Ayin Chesed B'Av. Tamalam Likru Yisrael Tolas Yaakov. We find in Tanakh, Am Yisrael is called Tolas, the worm of Yaakov. All right, so of course the most common pshat in the Gemara, in Midrashim, is that the tolat, it's a little weak, it's a worm, but it's got a very mighty mouth. It can eat through anything. So us we're weak, but we have a mighty mouth. That's our koach of tefillah, right? That's the more common pshat that Chazal say. But Zok the Zar Shen Ketas Ameshi, Am Yisrael is like the silkworm. That the silkworm, makes silk for like wonderful, wonderful royal clothing, and it drops a seed, and dies. And after that, it also reemerges life. What it sounds like is that Am Yisrael, sounds like Am Yisrael, it's, let's say like this, it sounds like from the Zohar, and I didn't check up the biological, but it sounds like the Zohar understands that the silkworm goes back into its cocoon, and then, that's, after it, and the cocoon makes, that all that silk, right, and and then it comes back to life. It breaks out of the cocoon. That's also Am Yisrael. We are like that silkworm that I guess our life in this world is to make all those beautiful clothing, which we had earlier in this sefer as well as in the Reishis Chachma, that the mitzvahs that we do are called Chalukah D'Rabban. There are the Neshama wears the mitzvahs as decorated clothing, like a decorated uniform. It's called Chalukah D'Rabbanan, honorable clothing, royal clothing. So also our lives, we make our silk, which is our honorable clothing. That was our big day Malchus. But then we ourselves die and are resurrected. Like it seems the silkworm, as Zorsi said, it goes into its cocoon and then reemerges. I'd like to check if that's... But it's something along those lines. Okay, Lamed. So Zohar says, turn to Bel Yo. So Zohar quotes in the name of the Yeshiva Bel Yo, turn to Bel Yo, Yaakov Avinu Kisei B'fnei Atzmo. Now Yaakov Avinu has his own throne, right? Or is Hashem is a particular throne for Hashem, separate from the other three of us. The Chassidus says, I remember my bris with Yaakov. Bris Koras HaKodesh Baruch Hu Yaakov Mikol Vazor HaKodesh has a special treaty, a special covenant with Yaakov more than all the other avos. Shaso Kisei Yaakov V'Yatzmo. Yaakov has its own divine throne, is his own divine throne that Hashem sits on. That we find, Rashi, even Chumash brings the Chazal. Dmus Yaakov Chakuka B'Kisei HaKavod. Right, the face of Yaakov is the face of Yaakov is engraved in the Kisei HaKavod, right? So that refers to he is his own throne. So everyone thought there's just one throne and it has face of Yaakov. Zohar saying no. That also it seems that Kisei HaKavod has the Dmus Yaakov is a special Yaakov throne for HaKadosh Baruch Hu Kiviyachol. Right? Aside from the first one, so it's like the Kisei HaKavod, which is referred to as the Kisei in the Olam Habriya, the Olam of Kisei HaKavod, and then Yaakov Avinu is, his own kisei for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This, I guess, also what Rashi brings. Chazal, Veikra lo Kel Elokei Yisrael. Hashem, he was called El, as it were, a deity, a power. By who? By Elokei Yisrael. Yaakov is called a deity. Yaakov is the holiest of the Avos, so he gives a special, merkava, a special kisei for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, being beside Bechir Sheba Avos Kayadua. Okay. Okay, all kinds of celebrations outside our ways, also celebrations outside our ways. Gesh Pasuk Asher Tivchar Takriv Right, Yud Tev is called Yud Chubashet Sigim. We call it Mila Nasa Chupachas. So this is the pasuk that we say, by a bris milah. The Mol says it as the baby is approaching. Ashrei Tivchar V'Tikriv. Right, fortunate is he who chose, and you bring close. That's referring to the baby is about to get a bris milah. So without looking up the pasuk, relying on the Zohar, this pasuk is 10 words long, connected the 10 canopies that Tzadikim have in Gan Eden. For each word of this pasuk, one chuppah is made. All right, that's interesting. I've never studied why that should be the case. Okay, Lamed Beis. Oh, Kasav B'Sefer Breishis Daf Kuf Chaf Lamed Beis. Another thing says Breishis Kuf Chaf Lamed Beis. Shmuel, Shmuel hears the divine voice calling him. He thought it was Eli initially, right? So he went to Eli and says, no, Eli realized what's going on. So the voice called to him, Shmuel, not just Shmuel, hey, Shmuel, but Shmuel. The fish of a pasuk haya shalem, shebesof haya shalem, shekodem lo haya navi, v'zeh yesh psak. Moshe lo psik b'shenoah tzchinemo. So actually, what the Zohar is telling on is something else that also we have also in other sources in Chazal. See, Shmuel kama Shmuel, right? But when Hashem calls to Moshe, the way it's written, the punctuation that we have in the oral tradition, it's not Moshe kama Moshe, but Moshe. Right, and that is, there's a lot on this, that why Moshe is different than when sometimes people are called to and doubled. It's like the name, comma, the name again. Whereas by Moshe, it's Moshe, right? As if almost like it's to be read, without any break. There's a lot of pshatim on that. The particular pshat that the Zohar is saying on that is that Shmuel, Shmuel, the first one refers to the way he was as a kid. As you know, initially he wasn't a prophet, right? As a matter of fact, even when he gets his prophecy, it first was weak, to the point that he made a mistake. Is it a heavenly voice or is it Eli calling me? And then Shmuel, that at the end of his life, he was Shalem. He rose to a very high level that, in some places called as in Tzidkus equal to Moshe and Aaron together, right? So Shmuel, this past, which wasn't the same like Shmuel, the way he was, and that's the way it should be by all of us. We should die better than the way we are born, right? But Moshe, because from the time he was born, the Shekhinah was with him. He was born perfect. Moshe was just a world phenomenon, a historic phenomenon, just born perfect. And that's why Vatero Kitovu, Rash says, Nishma Amayas Kula Oro. When he was born, the house filled up with light. Special creature, Moshe. He was already perfect from the get-go. Lamed Gimel, Od Kasav B'Sefer Bereishis Daf Kuf Samaches Amud Aleph. Another thing it says in Bereishis Kuf Samaches Amud Aleph. Oh, man. Ki inichu leDavid alav shalom kol echad mechayav. Ki also inichu alav shalom kol echad mechayav. Right? Right. So now this is another pshat. The Zohar is saying a whole different pshat. Like we conventionally understand. Excuse me, please. Lisa, can you see what's going on? Sorry about that. Right, we conventionally are taught, in most midrashim it says Adam Rishon gave 70 years to Adam. He should have lived 1,000, and he only lived 930. He only lived 930, and that is because he gave 70 years. Probably the Zohar is saying a different shot. The Avos contributed life to David. Avram should live to 180, and he donated 5 years to David, and hence only lived 175. Now Yaakov should have lived 180, like Avram was meant to live, but he only lived 147. So that means he gave up 28 years of his life, right? So he gave 28 years of his life relying on the Zohar for the cheshbon, and so they have 28 plus the 5 that Avram donated. That gets you up to 33. Now Yosef should have lived 147 like Yaakov, but he only lived 110. Nimtzah should also be told that David Lamed Zayzor comes out. He gave David 37 years. All right, I ain't sure David, so it comes out. Your David got is 70 years. Yitzchak also close, but Yitzchak gave David nothing. All right, we have to stop here.